joined us today. So again, thank you for joining us for our Value of Fumigation webinar. During today's webinar, all attendee lines will be muted. If you have a question for the presenter, please make sure to type your question into the Q&A feature located within the right-hand panel of your WebEx platform. We will conduct our Q&A session at the conclusion of this webinar, but encourage you to ask questions throughout the webinar. Before we begin today's presentation, I would like to introduce you to our speakers. John Miller grew up as a son of a flour miller. He has been a practicing fumigator for 34 plus years. John is now the Vice President of Strategic Business Development for Ecolab and our Specialty Pest Services Group. He has played a big part in driving fumigation innovation and technology to the post-harvest pest management industry. We also have Nathan Stockard joining us today, and he is a third-generation grain milling and food processing fumigator. He has over 20 years of experience with phosphine, methylbromine, and sulfur fluoride. Additionally, he has helped research multiple new innovations into the fumigation industry. So now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to turn it over to Nathan to kick off today's webinar. Nathan?
Good morning. Today we will talk about the Ecolab Specialty Pest Services Division, provide a fumigation overview, offer fumigation options and solutions, discuss some new technology, and conclude with the overall value of fumigation. Specialty Pest Services has unrivaled reach across the value food chain. We fumigate cargo ships, import and export containers, grain storage facilities, warehouses, and structures. We have strength in numbers. With 210 master fumigators and 3,200 fumigation associates nationwide, Specialty Pest Services is the largest fumigation provider in North America. This allows us to provide consistent, successful treatments across the U.S. Now I'll take you through a general overview of fumigation. Fumigation is unique from other chemicals in that it successfully treats all life stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. There are 4 types of feeders, and they include internal, external, scavenger, and mold feeders. Fumigation successfully treats them all. Decades of scientific research shows that when concentration, temperature, and time are managed, fumigation is the time-tested, highly successful method of pest control. We have a science-based approach and follow all label and USDA guidelines to properly manipulate concentration, temperature, and time. We can demonstrate our manipulation of those variables through our thorough post-fumigation reports, which we will discuss later. The value of fumigation is that fumigants penetrate deep into the kernel and facility and will be successful where other treatments will not. There are a lot of reasons why to fumigate, which we will now go through. One reason you should fumigate is because of brand protection. It protects you from negative publicity, reduction in trust, decrease in product sales, potential recall, legal costs, and revenue loss. Another reason why you should fumigate is potentially other options have not been successful. Maybe there's an upward trending or thresholds that have been met, or you inherited a problem from a vendor. In the graph on the screen, you can see how a fumigation affects trap counts. This is a facility we took over with high trap counts. As you can see in the spikes, foggings and residual treatments were used to get the trap counts down, but ultimately a fumigation was the solution. You can see what was done there with we focused treatments. The value of fumigation it's the big hammer and will solve a problem quickly. This is a facility we took over, and the green boxes on the graph mark year 1, 2, and 3. We successfully coordinated plant sanitation and fumigation to time treatments for maximum value. The graph is over the course of 2.5 years, where we kept improving and focusing efforts to key areas to reduce insect hatch counts. This is a collaboration between an effective sanitation strategy and fumigation services. Another reason to fumigate is because fumigates penetrate deep within structures where residuals will not. Many facilities have challenging construction, building materials, and equipment. To the right, you can see layers of flooring at a facility. Insects were able to get into the layers of flooring and not be affected by foggings or residuals. We identified this as a large harborage throughout 5 floors of a facility. A fumigation was the only option that was able to reach in and penetrate these harborages. The next picture is looking up at the bottom side of an ingredient silo. They are full of I-beams, ledges, and hard to reach areas. Only fumigants were able to reach into these microenvironments. Another value of fumigation is that the fix can be scheduled. A problem is not lingering, which could cause the economic impact of an unexpected down day. You can schedule a fumigation in coordination with a maintenance outage or a down weekend. Next, I will take you through some potential options and solutions for food processing. Here we will be discussing the warehouse and structural options of the supply chain. For a general fumigation, our team prepares the building, sets up application and monitoring lines, and prepares safe aeration procedures. We seal all exhaust fans on the roof, walls, and doors with tape, adhesive, and plastic. Monitoring and application lines are placed throughout the facility for maximum efficacy. Our monitoring station is the command center for taking readings and keeping a pulse of the fumigation, checking concentration, temperature, and time. With these inputs, effective and efficient decisions can be made. A general fumigation of the entire facility is not always needed. We can focus treatments to rooms or areas if there's an isolated problem. There is value to performing focused treatments, and a general fumigation is not always the best option. Silo treatments can often be performed in a short timeline. It offers protection for incoming and outgoing products and ingredients. We also offer fumigation of problematic equipment. You can track tailings and food safety observations to help prescribe a smaller, quicker fumigation that still offers value. The picture on the right shows equipment we often perform fumigations on, such as dust collection, product transfer lines, and sifters. We have been leveraging new technologies such as the pulse fumigation system over the last few years. With the pulse fumigation system, gas is applied in equipment at higher concentrations to achieve an improved kill rate in the processing system. Gas is pulsed in equipment to maintain concentration over time, and fogging agents are typically used to treat the areas outside the fumigated equipment. Old school versus new school. The pulse fumigation system is something no one else has done. The pulse fumigation system has shown to be a better treatment option for scales, systems, and equipment. Spot fumigation has been around for many years and is typically done with phosphine. We have improved that application with the use of Profume and improved technology. Some of the key differences of spot and pulse fumigations are that there is non-flammable application, remote application from the exterior, increased safety and efficacy, no risk of lost fumigant, variable control of application, and most importantly, shorter treatment times. Now I'm going to turn it over to John Miller for some grain commodity fumigation options and solutions. John?
Thanks, Nathan. Next, I'm going to take you through some potential fumigation options and solutions for commodity treatment. During this section, I will discuss grain storage, export and import fumigation, vessel fumigation, as well as specialty commodities. The U.S. is a grain producing powerhouse. Grain-based food is very diverse. It includes bakeries, pasta, cereal, brewing, animal feed, and much more. One of the interesting things I learned not too long ago is there's even flour in Twizzlers and certain candy products. Where you find grain-based products in our food chain is amazing. It all starts here with grain storage facilities. Grain storage managers have some of the most difficult pest challenges in the food industry. You will want a well-equipped commodity fumigator who utilizes the best tools for success. Internal feeding insects are the most challenging stored product pests to manage. Fumigation is the only way not only to control all life stages of the insects, but to also penetrate grain kernels and kill all life stages. What you're looking at here is a CT scan or an X-ray scan of wheat berries. This was provided by Dr. Subi and his team at Kansas State University during some of the research he was doing. And what this illustrates really is the difficulty that grain managers have. And that's insects that parasitize these grain kernels. And the feeding stage of the insect evolves within that grain kernel. And this is how they're able to kind of overweather or survive residual chemical or other residual pesticide applications. Fumigation can penetrate these kernels, kill not only what's on the outside of the grain mass within the structure, but also what's within the kernels themselves. Robust fumigation processes are required to be successful with these internal pest pressures. One robust process used is cylinderized phosphine, also known as vapor phos, and the horn dilaphos system, known as the HDS system. The HDS process provides rapid introduction of gas and maintenance of gas to help ensure success. Application is from the outside with no confined space entry needed for applications. We have the largest fleet of HDS systems in North America and a very mature crew that knows how to use this technology. Capital investment in this space is very heavy, and on a large grain fumigation, we can easily roll in with $250,000 or more worth equipment. It's not cheap, but it is very effective. This technology requires intense initial training. Requirement involves testing on vapor phos from the manufacturer, and then the HDS system as well. And then on-site observation of the first treatment. So not only are they testing you on your knowledge, your commitment to the treatment or to the technology, but also from an application standpoint, observing the first treatment. It requires certification and then annual recertification through the stewardship program. And then safety and competence is taken very seriously in this process. With the difficulties of grain storage pests come storage challenges like bunkers and ground piles. A partner has proven success records treating ground piles and bunkers is key. These are not easy structures to treat by any stretch of the imagination. We have found success in treating ground piles and bunkers using the vapor phos and HDS technology. And again, it allows us to dose quickly, reach our efficacy levels, and then maintain those levels through monitoring observation over time. And this helps us drive maximum control, maximum success. Additionally, we have a unique sealing method which allows us in certain instances to run the fans which enhance treatment methods. Other treatment methods for grain storage and services that we provide is empty bin or storage treatments, inspections utilizing residual insecticides, documented grain inspections, on-site employee training, commodity insect monitoring programs, power probing, and then support and setup of grain protection application systems. One of the shifts in grain fumigation over the last few years has been the utilization of a surplus of sea containers coming into the United States. I know this appears to be kind of a hard turn, but with that surplus of containers, many empty containers were going back to the originating countries, mostly China. And then commodity companies have found a way to utilize a cost-effective transportation method. Grain byproducts like DDGS, soy meal, and other commodities are increasingly utilizing these haulback opportunities. Well over 100,000 containers are fumigated each year. To support this, we have over 26 fumigation operations around the U.S. to facilitate these important and required treatments. And along the line of containers aren't in transit, vessels are, but along the line of these transportation treatments, bulk grain vessels have required fumigation for decades, as a condition of sale to the importing countries. These fumigations are technical and safety is critical. Safety is always critical, but at port operations, it's very, very much more dynamic. This is why it is important to partner with a fumigation company that focuses on treating bulk cargo vessels transporting commodities. And then fumigation application methods for vessels, they involve direct application, dust retention, and then also gas recirculation. Enhanced experience and safety are key with all fumigations, but with vessel fumigations, it's even more important. Again, these port environments pose other challenges. Your fumigator should be GAFTA certified. Documentation is important, and we focus on accuracy and detail and timeliness. We keep a library of all vessels we treat so we can review these vessels prior to treatment. We look at this as a distinct advantage. If you're not familiar with vessel fumigations, they really are quite interesting. If you look at these slides, what we're setting up here is a gas recirculation system. So prior to the filling of the vessel, tubing is placed. The picture to the left shows two fumigators that are setting up the introduction line that will rest on the top of the grain mass once that vessel is filled. The middle picture gives you a real scale to the size of the vessel holds. That small blue dot at the bottom that you're looking at is a person fitting that vessel. And there are 5 to 7 holds this size in each bulk carrier, bulk vessel. In the picture to the right, you'll see fumigators wearing PPE placing the riser pipes to complete that recirculation system. Next slide, please. Fumigation service involves a wide variety of specialty commodities, not just grain. Some of the things that we treat are cocoa, fruit and produce, both dried and fresh, pharmaceuticals, believe it or not, machinery, and then forestry or wood products is very much on the rise. Work with a fumigation partner who can provide knowledge and proven performance in these unique areas. On the import side of commodity fumigation, we provide fumigation services for fruit and vegetables coming into the U.S. Year-round, but the season for this is really in the wintertime when we're sourcing our food supply from South America. Much of this requires fumigation prior to entering the United States. The scale of some of these treatments is tremendous. One operation we have that we're very proud of can fumigate as many as 5,000 pallets, 4,000 to 5,000 pallets each night during certain seasons. This work is very intense. Automated tarping systems that they've developed, fumigant monitoring systems that are unique technology, climate control systems, and ventilation methods are involved in these required import fumigations. And this area is evolving. As commodities move and change transportation methods, so do we and so do our treatments. Fumigation innovation is starting to be planned into these trend shifts, and treatment performance really improves. This slide really shows a partnership with one of our fumigation customers. And it's a very complex fumigation, and they needed a solution for rapid ventilation and then also compliance for air permitting. We were able to work with them and achieve that. Now I'm going to turn this back over to Nathan to talk about the technology we leverage in the fumigation space. Thank you, Nathan.
Thanks, John. Now I'd like to discuss some new technology. Technology in fumigation has come a long way from pumps and tubes, like I'm sure many on this call are used to. Modern data gathering allows transparency and efficiency to your investment. The use of the most modern equipment allows us to effectively monitor and manipulate concentration, temperature, and time. The infrared monitors take real-time constant gas concentrations and push them into a software program to ensure we are meeting successful treatment schedules. With this data, we are able to make adjustments to current and future treatments. There is local and remote monitoring, and this gives us the ability to adjust gas levels during the fumigation and provide insight to the facility and gives transparency to the customer's investment. We also utilize bioassays as one way to provide treatment success. Bioassays are live insects in small cages for both our team and a customer to place out prior to the fumigation. This also gives transparency to the investment in fumigation. The use of FLIR imaging, also known as forward-looking infrared, allows us to gain more insight into facilities. Here's a side-by-side picture, and on the left, the wall looks tight and intact. The picture on the right, the FLIR image, shows air coming out. It was an easy fix, but only possible by the use of this technology. This technology allows us to be more efficient and ensures success for fumigations. The FLIR also allows us to find microenvironments and adjust applications. Here we found voids in and around roll stands and flooring. We were able to work with facility maintenance and create application points to make treatments more successful. Without the use of the FLIR, these microenvironments would not have been uncovered. Overall, technology helps us deliver valuable information to customers to help improve facilities. The post-fumigation report shows the value and gives transparency to the investment of fumigation. It demonstrates the parameters for success in concentration, temperature, and time. We are also able to give post-mortem notes of what was found to gain valuable knowledge of building and future treatments. Now I'm going to turn it back over to John.
Thanks, Nathan, for walking us through the features and benefits of using technology. It's always fun to work with new things and technology that helps us do our job safer, better. That's the fun part. Now I'd like to remind you about the value of fumigation. As you can see, the ways we bring food and agricultural goods to market is dynamic. Fumigation is an important and many times required step in the value chain. And when applied, fumigants, they're there when you need them, and they're gone when you don't, leaving very little or no residue. And that's really key. Many pesticides leave a residue behind. Fumigants, when planned and properly prepared. They go in, they take care of the problem. When they're vented, they're gone. And they, like I said, they leave little or no residue. Next slide, please. Fumigation provides brand protection, which is key to protecting your business. If a pest infestation occurs, it can result in loss of customer and trust in your brand, possible recalls, bad publicity, strong decrease in sales, lawsuits and legal actions, and revenue loss. Next slide, please. And an additional benefit that fumigation provides is it can reduce downtime from plant closure, product shrinkage, insect damage, product infestations in production and storage, and lost worker time. In the end, fumigation helps you in many ways. Helps you meet all compliance regulations within this space, helps ensure product delivery, and protects your goods and business. At this time, we're going to go take this back to the moderator for any questions and answers. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, John and Nathan, for walking us through what fumigation is, why it is important, and how it protects your customers' operations from pest risks. So we've had several questions come in throughout today's presentation. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few of these, and let's see if we can provide some answers for the attendees. So Rick?
Gentlemen, you did a very thorough job. There's not many questions. Nathan, one came in about Profume. It says, is it corrosive? And can it cause any damage to equipment or electronics?
Great question, Rick. The benefit of using Profume in the systems and things, it is non-corrosive. Where the old forms of phosphine are very corrosive, and you got to be careful. Profume is non-corrosive.
What about the, so it doesn't affect electronics? I guess that's corrosive.
Correct. Phosphine will affect, phone lines, touch screens, computers, soft copper, and Profume will not.
All right, there was a follow-up to that about when you're just doing the equipment and the spot fumigations, can that be done while people are in the building at a different part of the building, I'm guessing?
No, great question, Rick. Due to federal law and label regulations, we are not allowed to perform treatments while people are in the building. But the good thing about spot fumigations and silo treatments and pulse fumigations is many times we can do it in a much tighter timeline than a general fumigation. So we can get 10 or 12 hours. We can usually do a pretty thorough good job of a Profume spot treatment.
This one came in as, how is fumigation incorporated into an organic facility? I'm guessing John should probably handle that one because we use a different process.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. This is something that's coming up more and more. And, essentially, food processors that have organic certifications, they have a good relationship with their organic certifier. You first work with them and start to learn what can and can't be done in this space. Many times the organic certifiers will allow you to remove the food product and any finished food or ingredients and then treat the open space. Sometimes, and many times, there's a small amount of ingredient in there that is designated for organic, and that just needs to be removed, and the conventional product can stay. So there are It's pretty dynamic. I would encourage the person asking that call, I guess, to reach out and we can take it off to the side because we need a little bit more information than just the generalization of organic. But we generally can work with customers and coach them on how to manage this.
Okay, I took his name and we will be able to get back to him. And John, just sticking with you, when you talked about fumigant penetrating the grain for the internal feeders, does that have any effect on the quality of the grain, like taste or appearance?
Yeah, it does not. The general fumigant today that's used on grain is phosphine and phosphine-based products. And they have 80 years of proven performance. They're inorganic, so they don't tend to bond with other organics very well. So they go in as a gas, they do their job, they kill the pest, and then they leave when we ventilate them. So there's been a lot of phosphine used in different environments where feeding studies have been used, and even on some very sensitive products and consumers, and it has passed those tests.
Nathan, on the remote monitoring, is that something you share in real time with a customer?
Great question, Rick. We take thorough readings and we push that to the post-fumigation report, and it is done when we exit the property, so they can see, what was done over the course of the weekend or the treatment, and they can also look at the weather and temperature as well.
Yeah, I love that question because some of this new technology that's coming out really takes a service that had no transparency to it. Generally customers would throw the keys at us on a Friday and we'd get them back on Sunday. And they didn't have a lot of view of what happened until after the fact. And this is an area of huge improvement in this fumigation sector, and it continues to evolve and improve.
That is all the questions I see. So Melissa, I guess take us home.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. So I'd like to thank everyone for your time today. We greatly appreciate you taking the time to attend our Value of Fumigation webinar. As a reminder, a recording of this webinar will be available on ecolab.com on our fumigation page. You can see the address located here on our screen. It should be available early next week. We hope that you really found this information valuable, and we look forward to seeing you attend future Ecolab webinars. So with that, have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for your time.